What up, folks? I'm back once again doing another video game review, and this time I'm reviewing Kid Icarus for the NES. Now, this is the only game in Nintendo's IP that's really based off of Greek mythology here, and the plot centers around Medusa trying to take over the palace in the sky because Paladina pretty much turned her into a monster because Medusa's like sneakiness or whatever. And then, in the process of Medusa trying to invade the palace in the sky, she ended up stealing three specific, it's like sacred treasures in the process. And then there was this battle that broke out between them, and as a result, Medusa pretty much was turned into stone, and Paladina pretty much is ended up being defeated, and she used the last of her power to send a bow and arrow to Pit, who was first named Kid Icarus at the beginning when the game was first released. Kid Icarus do have 4 worlds in it, and the first 3 worlds have like 4 sections to it, while the last one has 1. The worlds with the 4th section is pretty much remind me of Super Mario Brothers in that regard. And another thing that you will notice is really like the level design of Kid Icarus. The one thing you will notice about it is that it has practically the same, has a similar level design as Metroid. The major difference is that there's no non-linearity in it in Kid Icarus, and you pretty much go up in the first section of the first world, as far as I know. But with that being the case, I would say another thing that is worth bringing up is this game is based off of Greek mythology. You pretty much fight a lot of monsters from that particular world. I would say there's certain ones that was just made up for the game, and they're not, and they have like no connection to Greek mythology. And you practically start off with the bow and arrow that I mentioned earlier, and you pretty much get like a different power through the course of the game. By the time you reach the final section of the game, by the time you get to Medusa, and the main key to progressing through Kid Icarus is pretty much timing your jumps and timing your shots when enemies are coming. And the one thing about Kid Icarus that's noticeable is that you really get 1 life, pretty much like how Festa Quest and Double Dragon 3 is. You get the one life. If you die, you get like a game over straight up. And how does the game fare? The graphics are okay, you know what I'm saying? They're pretty good, but the problem is that it really hasn't aged well since it was first released. And the level design is pretty good, pretty decent, you know what I'm saying? And it's possible that the level design shares a similarity to the Metroid's level design is in its favor, but it really does depend on who you ask. And the gameplay is good. It's like my main complaint is that when you start the game with the bow and arrow, it has a short range. It pretty much reminds me of how you begin Metroid, because Samus has a short range shot with her beam. But with that, it's kind of like the soundtrack is pretty good. It's probably the best aspect of the game, in my opinion, and it does fit the game in my opinion. It's pretty much the only other gripe that I do have with it is that it's really like connected to the difficulty and the one life thing that you have to deal with. I mean, it's not impossible to beat the game, but mainly because I don't think it's like as frustratingly hard as Festus Quest or Double Dragon 3. And like one thing I did notice, I think pretty much a lot of gamers noticed this too from back in the day, is that this is the only Kid Icarus is the only Nintendo IP that really hadn't saw a lot of releases on the different Nintendo consoles up until a few years ago when the 3DS was released and the Kid Icarus was one of the launch titles. And there was, in my opinion, there was a lot of opportunity. There was opportunity for Nintendo to make this game into like a real major franchise like Mario, Metroid, and Zelda. But they pretty much concentrated on those games and the other IPs that they have. So I don't know if it's safe to say they squander opportunity to make it a major franchise, but they did like this. But they did ignore it nonetheless. Like, as far as the score, I would definitely like give it a 7 because of the flaws can't be ignored. But what I can say is that I would honestly recommend it to anybody that's a NES fanboy, or if they happen to have a Wii U. I would tell them to download it if Kid Icarus is available in the virtual console. Now, with that being said, if you like Kid Icarus, if you mention it in the comment section. If you like this video review of Kid Icarus, don't hesitate to thumbs it up, and don't forget to subscribe. This is your boy Big Metroid Fan 12 signing off.